Magandang umaga mga kapitek. Ako po si Sir Willie Giev. Ako po ang inyong lead trainer ng ating PTech Encash Review. Ang aking pagpasa ay noong 2015 at ako po ang isa sa mga top passers ng aming batch. Nandito po ang mga videos na gagawin po natin para sa inyo upang kami makatulong sa inyong goal na makapasa at maging isang full-fledged na school principal. Ang PTech program na inyong napapanood at magiging parte ng inyong journey ay hindi lang po simpleng individual videos, but rather ito po ay isang programa, kaya inaanyayahan ko kayo na i-explore ang aming channel para makita nyo po ang iba't ibang mga sessions at iba't ibang mga mock test na ibibigay po natin para makatulong po sa inyo sa inyong mga kapite. So, enjoy learning and good luck sa inyong journey. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagtangkilik sa aming video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Maraming salamat.
What is the instruction, anak? 24? What did teacher say during your online class? That when we say about and about and estimated, you always round it off to the highest place value. Okay? Round it off to the highest place value.
Good afternoon. Please key in the chat box your name and key in sa chat box po yung name ninyo and then your major or yung course ninyo and para ma-capture ko po yung inyong attendance. So you can use the chat box for that, no, para makuha ko na rin since recorded naman ito.
Yes.
It will be given to me in a transcript.
Number 30 in math. Okay, let me check. Tapo. Only one. Only one answer in number 13. There is only one answer there, Grant. Okay. Yeah, there are two. But I think, okay, you just choose from A to C na lang. Or maybe I can consider also yung B.
You're using this?
Okay, sige po. Okay, I corrected.
Alright, magandang hapon. Can you
Afternoon,
confirm?
sir.
Can you
Good
please,
afternoon po, sir.
thank you. At least naririnig nyo, malinaw, the audio is clear.
Yes po, sir.
Alright, sige. We continue from where we left off, and can you confirm that this is the same group as what we have? Are you the same group that participated during the first session, or may mga nawawala dito? Are there other groups dito na, or are there other attendees during the first session who cannot attend the day session? Can you confirm that, LV? Do we have other groups na wala ngayon?
Ano po, nag-merge na po yung Block A and B ulit, sir.
Okay, so meaning more or less it's the same group noong last meeting, tama?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige. We continue from where we left off. This will be session number 2. And from our first session, we talked about the initial topics, the initial preliminary discussions. And so this time we go into session number 2, and we're going to talk about the assessment of the different learning outcomes. In particular, for the first topic, we're going to cover the different principles of the good practice in ALO, or assessment of learning outcomes, and then the variety of assessment instruments and their specific guidelines. We are also going to cover the assessment of learning outcomes in the K-12 program. And finally, we will have the discussion of the development of varied assessment tools. Yes, I'm still waiting yung sa mga nagpapa-admit continuous naman, no? Naka ano ako ngayon, I'm monitoring kung sino yung mga umaten. Just tell them to log in sa link. All right. Sige, let's start off and yung last discussion nga natin ay ito 'yon. So this time we're going to cover the different principles of the learning outcomes. So in terms of the modes of assessment, we have three particular modes, no? In general ito, the three particular modes. And the mode started off with number 1, yung tinatawag natin na traditional mode, followed by the performance, and then we have the portfolio mode of assessment. So ano nga ba yung mga distinctions at yung mga pagkakaiba nitong mga ito? So una is that whenever we say traditional, it refers to the paper and pencil, no? Commonly, ang tawag natin dito ay mga paper and pencil na type of testing. And example of which ay ang standardized at saka ang teacher-made test. Okay? So, pag sinabi natin na traditional testing, it doesn't mean that it is in general bad, no? Kasi baka yung sabihin niyo I'll go with the performance kasi traditional is traditional. Baka sabihin natin magkaroon tayo ng notion na ang traditional mode of assessment ay inferior over that of the performance or over the portfolio, no? Hindi po ibig sabihin nun na yun yung linking, no? Kasi baka mabuo sa isip ninyo na mas I'll go with the performance over the traditional. May mga areas na napakagandang gamitin ng traditional type. Like say for example, yung mga standardized test na multiple choice type, no? Siyempre, hindi pa rin nawawala yan. Kung mapapansin niyo, the board examinations, ang lahat halos ng mga board examinations ay naka-standardized test pa rin yan, na ang ginagamit ay paper and pencil testing. For the reason that ang traditional na standardized test ay napakataas ang kanyang reliability, no? Kaya nga ito ginagamit for board testing, professional board testing. Medyo dehado lang ito when it comes to validity kasi mas mataas ang validity whenever we talk about performance or yung tinatawag natin na authentic assessment. No? So, Pagdating kay traditional, mataas ang reliability niya, pero mababa ang validity. Pero kapag kay performance, mataas ang kanyang validity, pero mababa naman ang kanyang reliability. Because it cannot easily be duplicated yung performance kasi nga pagkakaiba yung output ng mga bata, magkakaiba yung magiging responses dahil nga sa nakabase ito sa kanilang individual performance. Kanya nga ang reliability ng mga performance tasks ay mababa. Pero ang appropriateness nila o yung tinatawag natin na validity nila ay mataas. Okay? So that's the difference between the traditional and the performance-based. Yung portfolio naman, it's a process of gathering multiple indicators of student progress. So ang kagandahan naman nitong kay portfolio is that it can be given for a longer duration of period. It is dynamic, it is paced according to the performance level ng mga bata, and it is ongoing, and it is also can be judged as a collaborative type of assessment, no? So yun yung strength ni portfolio assessment. Ang mga categories nito ay mga examples nito ay, for example, the showcase, the process, and the documentary, no? So showcase meaning yung mga it is something to do with yung mga how do you term that, yung mga best performances, no? Yung mga best outputs ng mga bata ang kanilang pinapakita for the showcase. For the process naman has something to do with the interlinking, no? Kaya nga process yan. We talk about one particular quarter in which all of the subjects can be merged together. Yan lang pwedeng gawin yun, no? Through the process. Pero kapag documentary, then it talks about the developmental process. Kaya nga, it can be related to from the time it started up to the time it ended. So, documentary yung type niya. You can always customize kung anong klase ng portfolio assessment ang pupwede na gamitin ninyo. But again, yaan yung kanyang pinaka-meat, no? So, next. Yung 4 types naman of the evaluation procedures, ito ay nabibilang into four, no? So, meron kang placement, meron kang summative, meron kang formative, at saka yung diagnostic. So, tingnan natin una yung placement. So, pag sinabi natin na placement, it is done before instruction and it determines mastery of a prerequisite skills. It is typically not graded and it will determine the extent of what the pupils have achieved or mastered in the objectives of the intended instruction. So it determines the student's strengths and the weaknesses. Ano pa? Students' strengths and weaknesses, and it places the students in specific learning groups, no, to facilitate the teaching learning processes. So examples of which ay ang mga college entrance examinations. Karamihan ng mga yan ay categorized as placement because they will be determining kung alin yung mga prognosis, no, ng mga bata, saan yung kanilang mga strengths, saan yung kanilang mga weaknesses nila. So inilalagay sila in a particular continuum. All right? So yan ang tawag natin doon sa yan ang tawag mo doon sa placement. Kaya nga from the term placement. Sa basic education, meron tayong tinatawag na NCAE or the National Career Assessment Examination. Ito ay binibigay usually for grade 9 both in the public and in the private to serve, no, as an indicator, no, into what particular course or what particular strand, no, will they be getting, no, papunta sila ng senior high school. So in an ideal context, the result of the NCAE being a placement examination can be used in order to guide the learners in terms of determining what particular course or determining what particular strand, no, will they be getting in the senior high school or papunta sila ng kanilang college level. Okay? So, ano ba naman yung isa, no? Meron kang placement, meron ka ding tinatawag na summative, no? The summative is done after instruction and it certifies mastery of the intended learning outcomes. It is graded, no? So this is the only material, the only assessment procedure that will have to be graded, and it will determine the extent of what the pupils have achieved or mastered in the objectives of the intended instruction. It will determine the strengths and the weaknesses at the same time, but the difference nga nito is that the summative test is a graded test. So it can be used as a guide in order to uh, lead, no, or yung ginagamit natin to in decision making, no, in giving promotion, in promoting learners, and in providing recognition. Yan ang ginagamit natin for summative test. It places the students in a specific learning groups to facilitate teaching and learning at the same time, including dito yung NAT and yung mga ginagamit natin ng mga quarterly examination. In the case of the DepEd and in the case of the, of course, in the basic education, ginagamit natin itong summative test as the basis for grading. In the DepEd order na ipinalabas, meron tayong dalawang or tatlo, no? Prior the pandemic, meron kang tatlong divisions, no, of where you can be able to get the results, no, and the results ng summative test that will serve as a basis for grading and promotion. Nandyan ang written works, nandyan ang ano yung isa? And meron kang written works, meron kang performance task, and then meron ka ding tinatawag na quarterly assessment. Now, however, because of the pandemic, yung quarterly assessment ay hindi muna ito ibinibigay. But rather, the summative assessment in the DepEd basic education grading, ang ginagamit natin dito ay ang quarterly the written works and the performance task. So walang puntos yung quarterly assessment because of the pandemic. All right, that's for the summative. Next, we have the formative. Ang formative naman reinforces the successful learning, no? It provides continuous feedback to both the students and the teachers concerning learning success and failures. So it identifies learning errors that are in need of correction, and it can be administered during instruction, pwedeng after, pwedeng before. Ayan. But ang pinaka-primary characteristic nito is that it can modify the teaching learning process. So therefore, since it modifies the teaching learning process, it is not graded at all because it is a part of the instructional process. Kasama din dito ang short quizzes, but not necessarily written. Yung iba ay formal, yung iba naman ay pwedeng gawing informal. So yan yung pagkakaiba. If you're going to get the basic difference between the formative and the summative type, ang formative, ito yung ginagamit natin for the reinforcement ng learning. Hindi natin pwedeng gamitin ito for grading. So, example, right after na ikaw ay nag-discuss, okay, kasi common ito, no, na ginagawa ng mga teachers, pero mali yung practice, no? For example, right after na nag-discuss, nagbigay ng quiz. Pagkatapos nagbigay ng quiz, nag-record. Yung recorded na material, yun na yung ginagamit for grading. That's wrong. No? Very, very, very wrong. No? So, tandaan nyo mabuti yan, ha? Mga new breed of teachers. Huwag ninyong gagawin yun. Kasi pagkatapos yung nag-discuss, pagkatapos ng discussion right away, and if it is a new topic, the discussion and the output, the discussion and followed by an assessment ay hindi po ito categorized as a summative test. But rather, ito ay isang formative test. Tandaan niyo, pag formative yan, hindi ito graded material. No? It is not a graded material. So, anong gamit? No? Ginagamit natin ito to check and to give feedback as to how the students are learning and how teachers are teaching. So, it modifies the teaching learning process. So kung ang ibinigay mo ay right after the test, ibig sabihin nun ng right after the discussion ay nagbigay ka ng test and then ang lumabas ay mataas, then that is an indicator na you need to move on to the next topic. Okay, pwede ka nang mag-proceed sa susunod na discussion. Pero hindi mo siya pwedeng i-record na gawin mo na basis ng kanilang grade. Kailangan naka-schedule yung yung summative assessment na ibibigay mo that will cover a particular group or range of topics na kasama dun sa gusto mong i-measure na competency. Right? Ano pa? Meron ka ding diagnostic. Ang diagnostic naman ay it determines the recurring or the persistent difficulties and it searches for the underlying causes of these problems that do not respond to the first aid treatment. Commonly, ginagamit natin yung diagnostic test. Tandaan ha, ang diagnostic po ay isang klase ng standardized test. Hindi ito basta-basta ginagawa ng isang teacher. kung ginagamit man natin yung term na diagnostic for assessing the halimbawa, start ng school year, nagbigay ka ng sasabihin mo, nagbigay ka ng diagnostic test. It's your wrong notion na yung bibigay mo na unang-unang test ay isang diagnostic. Kasi unang-una, dumaan ba sa tamang proseso yung test construction mo, no? Were you able to identify the item difficulty of which? Ito bang test na binigay mo para masabi mong diagnostic ay dumaan sa scrutiny ng mga experts? Kung hindi, at teacher-made test lang yan, ito ay simple na pre-test lamang. Simpleng pre-test ito. Hindi mo siya pwedeng tawagin na diagnostic kasi ang diagnostic is an example of a standardized test. Okay? Tandaan natin yung mga gamit niya. It helps formulate a plan for detailed remedial instruction. It modifies the teaching learning process, and at the same time, it determines recurring or persistent difficulties that are not usually being reflected in the usual teacher-made testing. All right? Kaya be careful sa paggamit ng term na diagnostic test. Kailangan kapag diagnostic test yan, ito ay standardized test. Kung hindi ito standardized, ito ay simpleng pre-testing lamang. Okay? Ayan. Yan ang pagkakaiba noong pre-test sa isang diagnostic test. You have to remember, there are 4, there are 4 yan na iba't ibang mga types of evaluation procedures. So meron kang placement, may formative, may summative, at saka meron kang diagnostic. Now, we go into the understanding of the different types of tests. So, we have the main point of comparison and the different types of tests na ibinigay. Una, meron kang tinatawag na purpose. Kung ang point of comparison ay purpose, meron kang psychological, meron kang educational. So, again, kapag psychological yan, nandyan na yung intelligence test, personality test, yung mga determination of the emotional quotient, mga psychological po ang mga yan. Okay? It aims to measure students' intelligence or mental ability in a large degree without reference to what the students has learned. On the other hand, ang educational naman, it aims to measure the result of instructions and learning, and it is administered after the instructional process. Kung ang point of comparison ay scope of content, meron kang survey, meron kang mastery. So, yung survey, it covers a broad range of objectives. And usually, kapag survey yan, it measures general achievement in certain subjects that are constructed by trained professional. Yung tinatawag natin na mga professional item writers. On the other hand, meron kang another category of a type of content, a type of the scope of content, which is mastery. So, educational ang purpose niyan. It covers specific objective and it measures fundamental skills and abilities. Typically, ang mastery type ng mga test ay constructed by the teacher and ito ay isang teacher-made test. Kung ang point of comparison ay interpretation, meron kang norm reference at saka meron kang criterion reference. Kung ang norm reference, ibig sabihin the result is interpreted by comparing one student with another student or one student with a particular group. Some really will pass, some will really pass the test. Yung iba naman ay may tendency na syempre kahit nagaano man yung kataas or kababa yung score ng mga estudyante mo kapag norm reference ang ginamit, merong papasa, merong babagsak. Okay, ganun yung interpretation na. Pero kapag kay criterion, hindi. The result is interpreted by comparing a student based on a predefined type of performance. Alright? So, ibig sabihin, pag sinabi mong criterion at sinabi mo that the passing score is 35, anyone who will get a score of 35 and above will pass the test, and anybody who will get 34 and below will fail. So there is a tendency that nobody will pass or everybody will pass. By tendency, then everybody will get a failing score. Okay. Unlike with that of the norm reference, in which you're going to grade according to the curve or the distribution of the group. So kung nilagay mo na yan sa curve, nilagay mo na yan sa particular distribution, then nagkakaroon na ng interpretation, and those who are belonging to the upper group will be given a passing grade, and those who are falling below the mean will be given a failing grade. So some will pass, some will fail. Hindi kagaya kapag kay criterion, na kapag kay criterion yung sinabi mo yung criterion mo na 35 out of 50, everybody who will have 35 will pass. And yung mga hindi naman nakaabot ng 35 ay talagang babagsak. Alright? Next. In terms of language mode, meron kang verbal at meron kang non-verbal. Kapag ka naman construction, sorry, it should be construction. So kapag sinabi po natin na construction, meron kang standardized, and then we have informal or a teacher-made test. So pag sinabi po natin na standardized, this is constructed, or ito po ay constructed by a professional item writer and covering a broad range of content covered in a subject area. It uses mainly the multiple choice item, while items written are screened and the best items were chosen for the final instrument. So dumadaan sa process ang isang standardized test. Hindi ito basta-basta ginagawa ng isang teacher. Otherwise, pag sinabi mong teacher-made test yan, ito yung according to the construction based on the principle and the needs as identified or as determined by the classroom teacher. And kapag informal ang category nito, it covers a narrow range of content and various range of various types of test items are used. Unlike in the standardized test na ito ay multiple choice lamang ang ibinibigay. Alright? Next, in the manner of administration, meron kang individual, meron kang group. Alright? Kapag group yan, paper and pencil test, and then, of course, pwedeng gawin ito in an informal manner. Kapag individual naman, it's an individual skill ang mini-measure. In terms of the effects of biases, meron kang objective at meron kang subjective. Sa objective, wherein the scorer's personal judgment does not affect the scoring. So pag sinabi natin na ang 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, then 2 will always be the correct answer. Kung hindi 2 ang kanyang sagot, then wala siyang point. No? Hindi kagaya kapag kay subjective, in which the scorer's personal opinion or bias or judgment can be a factor in the grading process. Okay, several answers are possible, and possible disagreement on what is the correct answer can be observed, no? Kasi nga hindi pare-pareho yung interpretation kapag ito ay subjective, and the bias will always play a vital factor. Okay? So kapag multiple choice yan, categorized as objective. That's an example. And then kapag essay type yan, ito ay categorized as an essay or a subjective type. Okay? Alam nyo, sometimes maraming factors kapag bias ang pinag-uusapan, no? Kaya nga sabi nila, kapag ka daw ikaw ay umupo at nag-check ng isang essay test, upuan mo hanggang sa hindi mo matapos. Para yung mood mo pare-pareho. Di ba? Charlene Sukila. Kapag yung mood mo ay maganda, pag maganda yung mood mo, meron kang tendency na makapagbigay ng yung tinatawag natin na generosity error, no? Sometimes, no? Kasi nga magandang mood mo no? So, feeling in love ka, ganun. Pero kung feeling marites ka naman, iba naman yung ibig sabihin, no? So kapag may ganong mga biases, may tendency na mag-commit ka ng tinatawag natin na generosity error kapag ka subjective. Pero kapag objective, walang problema. Kasi kung ano yung nakalagay na tamang sagot, if that is A, then that is A. No? Kung B or B. Kung iba naman, wala nang score right away. Right? Yaan po yung distinction ng effects of bias. Time limit and level of difficulty, meron kang power, meron kang speed. Ang power consists of a series of items arranged in an ascending order of difficulty. Kung nakapanood ka na ng Who Wants to be a Millionaire, yan ay isang klase ng power, no? Power type of test. Kasi nga, kapag power, ibig sabihin nito, increasing level of difficulty. No? Pero kapag kay speed, approximately yung difficulty level pare-pareho yung bawat item, pero merong kang time limit, no? Merong kang time limit. It measures the student's speed or rate and accuracy in terms of responding. Okay? Pare-pareho yung level ng difficulty, pero speed nga ang tinitignan mo. Kapag format ay pwedeng selective at pwedeng supply. Selective, there are choices. Meron kang multiple choice, may true or false, may matching type. Okay? So if there is a there are choices from the given question, then automatic selective. Kapag supply naman, there are no choices for the question. So it's either a short answer, it's a completion, restricted, and extended response essay. Okay? Ang supply, the preparation of test items is relatively easy and few questions are needed. But the difficulty will be observed kapag ikaw ay nag-check na. Hindi kagaya kapag kay selective, ang selective ay time consuming yung construction. Pero madali siyang i-check. But also the problem with that of the selective is that there is a problem in terms of guessing. Okay? On supply naman, the bluffing can be a problem. Kunwari marami kang alam, dami mo nang nasulat. Yun pala ay puro na lang padding lang pala yung laman nun. Paikot-ikot lang yung ginagawa. Karamihan ng mga estudyante kapag magaling mag-English, yan, advantage nila yan. They can roam around the bush, but they can never hit the target. Diba? Yan yung nila. Yun yung difference. So you have to be very careful din kapag ganun. Okay? So next, we proceed into yung yan. Going ahead in terms of the yung mga different types of objective tests according to the format. Nabanggit natin ito kanina, yung selective. Selective type of test can be multiple choice, true or false, or alternate response, and the matching type. Tignan natin isa-isa yan. Alam nyo, yung parts of a multiple choice test, meron kang condition. Sometimes may condition, it is optional in some cases. Then you have the STEM, usually in the form of a question. And then meron kang mga choices, mga options. Tinatawag natin mga choices. The choices will contain the correct answer at saka yung mga tinatawag nating distractors. If there are 4 choices, then 1 will be the correct answer and the remaining 3 are called the distractors. Okay? In the conduct or in the construction of a multiple choice test, napaka-importante na alam natin kung paano gamitin itong condition. Halimbawa, ikaw ay nagbigay ng paragraph. Kung English major ka, mahilig ka dyan. Kung English major yan, mahilig magbigay ng ganitong klase ng test yan. Okay? Kapag math naman, mahilig din yan kasi mahilig kang magbigay ng graph. Mahilig kang magbigay ng mga, ng mga tables. Yan. So, kapag nagbigay ka ng graph, may mga tables kang ginamit, ang tawag mo doon ay condition. And then, followed by the condition ay yung STEM. So, usually, the STEM is in the form of a question. And then you have the different choices na 1 will always be the correct answer. And then the other 3 are considered to be your distractors. Kapag ikaw ay gumagawa ng test, kailangan magaling ka sa paggamit ng mga distractors. Because it will really differentiate yung mga learners natin at makikita mo talaga kung sino yung mga magagaling at sino yung mga nakahula lang ng tamang sagot. Alright, supply test naman ay pwedeng short answer or pwedeng completion. Pag short answer yan, it uses direct question that can be answered by a word, a phrase, or a number or a symbol. Completion test naman consists of an incomplete statement. Pag essay test naman ay meron kang restricted response, meron kang extended response. Kapag restricted response, meron kang limitation in terms of the content and the response by restricting the scope of the topic. So, halimbawa, nililimit mo in terms of the number of words, automatic restricted na yung essay type na sinabi mo, Or halimbawa, ikaw ay nagbigay ng mga particular conditions, you are going to discuss a subject and you are going to limit the discussion points into 2 or 3 topics lamang, ito ay isang restricted response. Kapag extended naman, it allows the students to select any factual information that they think is pertinent and to organize their answers in accordance with their best judgment. Ibig sabihin, wala kang nilalagay na limitations, walang restrictions kang inilalagay according to your statement or according to your question. So usually, kapag gumagamit tayo ng ating mga essay or yung tinatawag na restricted responses or extended responses, kailangan malinaw kung anong scoring rubrics ang gagamitin. Kaya nga, nakalagay din dyan kung ano bang definition ng scoring rubrics. It is a set of guidelines in scoring different levels of performance or qualities of products. So, pwedeng analytic yung category or pwede rin tinatawag nating holistic. So, when we say analytic, it describes the quality of a performance or products in relation to a specific criterion. Kapag holistic naman, it describes the overall characteristics of the performance or the products. Now, kailan natin ginagamit ang holistic, kailan ginagamit ang ang analytic? Kapag ikaw ay gumagamit ng analytic, meaning it refers to the usually ginagamit mo ito when there is a detailed analysis of the performance needed. So halimbawa, yung performance na yun ay gagamitin mo for a more relevant, sabihin natin ganun, or malaking bagay, malaking activity na talagang pinagpreparahan ng mga bata na kailangan talaga ng or matagal na nag-prepare, and it encompasses a lot of subjects maybe na magkakapareho ng performance task. Tapos, kailangan mo ng detailed analysis of their performance kasi nga bini-breakdown mo according to the competencies. Then, gumamit ka ng analytic. Okay? Pero kung ikaw ay kailangan mo lang ng tinatawag natin na quick judgment, then you go for the holistic, no? You go for the holistic. Usually kapag ka nag-check ka ng isang ng isang essay test, 'di ba? Ang scoring mo diyan ay 531 or 321 or 124 or 135, bahala ka kung anong scoring. So ganun usual nung nilalagay natin So pag ganun po ang yung template ng pag-check ninyo ng isang essay, automatic, no? Yan po ay isang holistic rubric, no? So meaning, ginagamit mo na yan noon pero ay ngayon ko lang nalaman na holistic rubric din pala yon, no? So it's a kind of holistic rubric na ginagamit mo na. Okay? Pero kapag ikaw ay nagja-judge ng mga activities like meron kang halimbawa, i-check mo yung performance ay yung kanilang meron kang ginawang artwork, no? Tapos mahilig ka tayo sa ang mga Pinoy teachers mahilig din di ba? Slogan making, ayan, poster making, yung walang kamatayang slogan, walang kamatayang poster, yan. Gusto, ewan ko ba kung bakit hindi na ba natin pwedeng palitan ang mga ito at na-stuck na lang tayo. Pero sige, granted na gusto mo yan at kapag ikaw ay naging teacher ay gusto mong i-adapt yan, wala namang problema. Pero kapag ganong mga klase ng mga activities, usually analytic rubrics po ang ginagamit natin to check, no, to evaluate yung output. Okay? So, yan, tinitignan mo, halimbawa ay poster making, relevance to the theme, di ba? Neatness of the artwork, no? Color combination, yan. So, you are setting the different criterion, no, para mo ma-identify or ma-evaluate yung isang particular output. Alright? Sige, mag lang kayo mag-comment lang kayo kung medyo mabilis or what. Kasi nasa slide number 41 pa lang ako pero 150 slides kasi ito eh. So tatapusin ko to, no? Imagine mo 150 slides tatapusin ko to sa loob ng sige, 2.5 na lang na session, no? Kaya kailangan kong medyo anuhan ng konti. All right. So closed item naman or forced choice instruments, the answers are selected from the given choices. Meron kang checklist, meron kang scales, mga examples ito. No? Checklist measures students' preferences, hobbies, and attitudes. And for scales naman, it measures the extent or the degree of one's particular response. Okay? And for the rating scales, meron kang yung types of scales, sabi nga, meron kang rating scales, meron kang semantic differential or tinatawag natin na ST scale. Pag rating scale, it measures the degree or extent of one's attitudes and feelings and perception about ideas. So, nire-rate natin into a 3 or 5-point scale. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yan. Usually, rating scale yun. Pag semantic differential naman, it measures the degree of one's attitudes, feelings, and perception about the ideas, objects, and people by marking along 5, 7, or 11-point scale of contrasting adjectives at each end. So, yung semantic differential ay going to the left ay negative, going to the right ay positive. Mga ganun. So, either you choose the leftmost part or the rightmost part. Yan ang kaibahan ng semantic differential doon kay rating scale. Meron ka ding tinatawag na Likert scale. Okay? Ano pa yung isa dito? Meron ka pang Thurstone pero ano, the Likert scale is the one usually used kapag nagagawa ka ng isang research. Measuring the degree of one's agreement or disagreement on positive or a negative statement about objects or about people. No? So, halimbawa, never, rarely, seldom, yan. Likert po yan, ang tawag natin doon. So, pinaka-common po na scale is the Likert. Closed item or forced choice instruments, including the alternative response or the ranking, another example to. It measures the students' preferences kapag alternative response by choosing between two possible responses. Okay? And then for ranking naman, measuring students' preferences or priorities by ranking a set of attitudes or objects. Pag open-ended instruments, no, there are no choices for the answers. Pwedeng sentence completion or pwedeng survey. Okay. Now, among the different types of assessments that we already have covered, it's important that we understand that in every learning target, there are specific assessment method that will really fit into in determining yung proper na assessment tool na pwede mong gamitin. Ibig sabihin nito, halimbawa, meron kang target na ang target mo ay knowledge. So meaning gusto mong malaman yung memorization skill or some memory skill ng mga bata. Yan, ang pwede mong magamit diyan ay pwede kang pumili from objective to essay to performance based, ayan, oral question, ayan, observation at saka self-report. Yan yung iba't ibang klase ng mga assessment methods. So wala po tayong makikita diyan na isang assessment method that would be 100% fit sa lahat ng mga learning targets. Ang ibig kong sabihin, kung meron kang isang learning target, meron siyang specific na method na talagang kakailanganin mo na gamitin para makita mo yung validity or yung appropriateness. Hindi kagaya ng yung one size fits all na type, no? Na kung ano man yung isa, para na yun sa lahat, no? Pero sa reality, ganun ang nangyayari, no? But in ideal setting, ito dapat ang kailangan ninyong malaman. Merong mga different assessment methods. So yung number na 1 to 5 dyan, 5 being the most appropriate and 1 being the least appropriate, no? So kapag knowledge yung target, alin ang pinaka-appropriate na assessment method? Okay, Danica Quartero, parang kayo yung nag-a-appear sa screen ko. Si Danica, kung ang learning target mo ay knowledge, alin ang assessment method na gagamitin mo? Ay, wala. Sige. Si Annalisa. Annalisa, what about you? Annalisa Busel. Kung ang learning target mo ay knowledge, aling assessment method ang gagamitin mo?
Sa tingin ko po, sir, pwede yung essay type kasi yung comprehension ng bata regarding
Okay.
sa topic.
Mm-hmm. But referring to the number na nakikita mo sa kanila, alin ang may pinakamataas na rating? Nakikita nyo ba or ako lang nakakakita? No.
Objective po.
Yan, objective. Merong 5-star rating, kumbaga. Although, tama ka din dahil 4 is mataas pa rin at ang oral questioning ay mataas pa rin. Okay? So, tandaan nyo ha, yung 5, 4, 4, relatively higher yan. So, meaning, ang knowledge na learning target ay kayang i-measure or appropriate na i-measure gamit ang objective type, gamit ang essay, gamit ang oral questioning. Okay? So, yan. Pag sinabi po natin na oral questioning, ito yung tinatawag din natin na Socratic method. No? This is also known to be the Socratic method. And it is intended for measuring the stock knowledge ng ating mga estudyante. So, huwag nyo pong gagayahin yung mga teachers ninyo dati na sasabihin nyo, class tomorrow you will have your graded recitation. Ayan. Sinabi mo na sabi na nga ang oral questioning ay stock knowledge yan O di nag-review tuloy, di ba? Hindi na stock yun. Tandaan nyo yan, no? Wag kang mag-a-announce ng oral questioning. Tapos merong bata nagko-complain, no? Bakit daw mababa ang kanyang grade? O sabi ng teacher, kasi nung araw ng graded recitation, absent ka. Hmm. 'Di ba? Tama bang rason ng teacher 'yon? Dahil absent, kaya mababa ang kanyang ano. Bakit? Nung absent ba, ibig sabihin ba ay walang alam? No? Tandaan niyo yan ha, mga ano yan, mga basic lang po yan na ano. Kasi, di ba nakikita niyo yan noon, di ba? Huwag niyo nang ulitin. No? Huwag niyo nang uulitin yung ganyang mga practices. Tandaan niyo, every day is a graded recitation day. No? Tandaan niyo yan. Every day is a graded recitation day. No? Every day you can see kung sino yung mga nagpe-perform, no, ng mga estudyante ninyo based on their feedback, based on their ability to reply, no, based on their ability na kung ano yung ipinapakita nila sa inyo. Right? So yan. All right? Next, we have reasoning. What about reasoning? Alin ang ano? What about Reggie Quezon? Reggie, what do you think? For reasoning, which assessment method will you use?
I think the best assessment method to use is essay type assessment.
That's right, no? Essay type will have 5, correct? And you also have performance-based, ha? Pwede mo ring maggamit yan at saka yung oral questioning. Okay? So, pwede ang mga ito na mga tools. Of course, makikita ninyo na yung objective, mababa na yung rating niya, no? Meron na siyang 2, and then observation 2, and then the self-report. Maaring tatanungin ninyo, sir, ano yung observation, ano yung self-report? Of course, the self-report will have to be very useful in one aspect of the learning target. Makikita niyo yan later on. And to complement yung self-report ay kailangan may observation. Nagko-complement yung dalawang yan eh. Kasi kung minsan, ang sinasabi ng bata, pag nagsa-self-report siya, okay, mabait na bata ito. No? Kapag may tinanong ka sa kanila, ano yung mga gusto mong gawin sa bahay? No? So, tatanungin mo yung bata, halimbawa, ano yung mga gustong-gusto mo nilang gawin? No? Ano yung mga favorite nilang gawin? Sasabihin ng bata sa kanyang report ay, gustong-gusto kong tumulong kay nanay, di ba? Gustong-gusto ko na nasa bahay lang ako at tumutulong sa mga gawaing bahay. Kalukuhan yan, di ba? Mga ganong mga ano. So tingnan mo nga sa school, okay? Kasipag ba 'yan? No? Nagre-reflect ba yung kasipagan ng bata sa classroom mo, 'di ba? Okay? Kasi kung nagre-report siya ng magaganda pero yung observation mo hindi maganda, there's something wrong, no? Kaya nga kailangan may validation. Okay? So, tama yung sinabi ni Reggie na ang reasoning, essay, mataas. And then the performance rate. What about the skills? If the learning target is all about skills, about TVL courses, TLE subjects, MAPE, yan, mga performance-based no, mga skills. So, alin ang pinaka-importante, anong pinakamagandang assessment method ang gagamitin mo? Gemma Rose.
Performance-based and observation po, sir.
Yan. Correct, no? May 5. So, we have performance-based at saka yung observation. And then you also have self-report, ha? Ay, hindi. 3 na siya kaya. Naduling ako dyan. And then we have the products, no? Kung makikita mo din yung products, makikita mo yung performance test with 5, ang kanyang observation ay 4, ang self-report niya ay 4. Ang affect naman, there's something to do with the affect has something to do with yung affective domain, no? And meron kang self-report na 5, observation is 4, and oral questioning ay 4. Okay? So, if you're going to analyze now, which among the assessment methods presented, no, has the highest level of, validity? Alin ang may pinakamataas na may level na validity? Natawag ko na itong mga nandito. Sige, Riniel Bugayong. Si Riniel naman.
Sir, based on the data, sir, yung performance based po.
Okay, why? Based on the data, ano bang nire-reveal ng data natin?
Sir, dun sa knowledge po, even 3 lang po, alis mataas na rin po yun. Tapos sa reasoning, 4. Tapos sa skill, 5 po. Tapos sa product, 5. Then sa affect po, 4.
That's right.
So,
no?
siya po yung may mataas na appropriate assessment method po.
Yan ang sinasabi ko, no? Thank you, Rinyal, ah. Magaling yung analysis mo diyan, no? Saludo ako sa iyo, no? 10 palakpak para sa iyo, no? Tuturuan ko sana kayo ng ng BBM clap or later on Lenny clap naman. Ano bang gusto mo, Rinyal, na clap? Pacquiao clap or Lenny clap? Joke lang yan, Rinyal, ah. Tinatanong ko lang kung ano. Pero walang problema yan. Kung gusto mo, si Rastaman Club, wala namang problema doon kung Rastaman Club ang ibibigay ko sa iyo. Pero magaling yung pagka-analisa mo doon, no? Magaling yung pag-analyze. So, ang performance-based, yan ang ipinapakita noon na way back nung diniscuss natin or binanggit ko sa inyo yung tinatawag natin na authentic assessment, authentic or yung performance-based type of assessment, ito ay may pinakamataas na validity. So yung 34554 na yan, it talks about the validity of the performance-based assessment. Okay? Although ang objective ay ang objective, yung mga written response instrument na tinatawag natin ay mataas ang kanyang reliability, mababa naman ang validity niya compared mo siya kay performance-based assessment. Alright? Sige, tingnan natin. May klase kayo, ano? I'm sorry, I can only meet you until 5, no? Because I will have also my class ng 5 also. May klase din kasi ako naka-schedule ng 5 o'clock. Kaya I can only meet you by and then sige, sa susunod na meeting ay pagso-surveyin ko na naman itong mga science major kung alin yung pinakamagandang schedule kasi doon tayo magmi-meet no? Doon tayo magmi-meet sa buti na lang na imbento itong si Google Meet no? Kasi pwede pala tayong mag-meet ng ganitong in a virtual manner. Okay. Ito, to reinforce yung idea natin about the performance-based assessment, dalawang klase ng ating PBA, process-oriented at saka product-oriented. Kung process-oriented, we are concerned with the actual task performance rather than the output or the product of the activity. Kapag product naman, we are more concerned with the output rather than the process. So may mga activities tayo, may mga competencies tayo na ang gusto mong makita ay yung process. So you go for the process-oriented. May mga activities naman tayo na ang gusto mong makita ay yung product, no? Like say for example, TVL, HRM. Halimbawa, HRM courses, yung mga kumukuha ng TVL courses sa senior high school. All right? Siyempre, gusto mo makita yung process, but you are more concerned with the product, di ba? Maganda nga yung process, yung magaling mag-chop, ganyan. Pero pag tinikman mo na yung niluto, hindi pala masarap. Iba ng usapan yan. So, kailangan tignan mo, product-oriented ka ba or process-oriented? So, there are competencies. Okay? So, ganun din, kapag MAPE, halimbawa, then you choose between process-oriented at saka yung product-oriented. So, dalawang klase po yan ng performance-based assessment. Next. Okay, general suggestions in the writing of the test. Meron kang paggamit po ng TOS. I hope that you are well-oriented in the use of the TOS, ha? Napaka-importante po nito. Kung hindi ka marunong sa paggawa ng TOS, ngayon pa lang mag-drop ka na, tinasabi ko sa iyo. No? Naging teacher ka pa, hindi mo alam pala gumawa ng TOS. Okay? Oo. Hindi magandang reflection po 'yan. Kapag ngayon pa lang hindi mo nasubukan pong gumawa ng TOS, ano pa nag-teacher ka, no? Okay? So kailangan well aware ka diyan sa process na 'yan. Ang table of specs will provide you with a lot of information. Unang-una, the table of specs will give you guidance in terms of the determination of how many items are you going to get from all the chapters that you are going to include for the quarter. Halimbawa, you are preparing for the quarter test. Kapag ikaw ay gumagawa ng quarter test at may TOS ka, the TOS will guide you how many items will you get based on the number of competencies from the different topics. Okay? Yan ang gamit ng TOS. At the same time, it will also guide you as to how many items will you be giving for yung mga critical questions or yung tinatawag natin na higher order thinking questions. Ilan yung mga recall questions na ibibigay mo? Ilan yung mga average questions na ibibigay mo? So, yun yung mga gamit kapag ikaw ay gumawa ng TOS. Okay? Malalaman mo yan kapag hindi ka marunong gumamit ng TOS. Kasi pag nakita ko yung papel na ginawa mo, pag chinek ko yung type of test na ginawa mo, number 1 ang tanong mo, what is the capital of blank? Number 2, what is the product of Cagayan? Number 3, where can you find Solana? Number 4. So, alam mo yon, mga tanong mo lang ay what, when, where, o mga ano yun, mga recall questions yun, no? Okay? Pero kung meron kang ginagawang mga tanong na may kinalaman sa mga higher order thinking na mga tanong, then makikita mo that you are really applying, no, the use of the table of specifications, no, yung test specifications. All right. Construct more items than needed, no? That's important because at the end of the day, kapag nagkaroon ng mga slashing of the items, pwede kang may ipapalit. Write the test items well in advance of the testing date and define the task to be performed clearly and write each test item in appropriate reading level. You are not constructing a test material na pagandahan ng English, pagandahan ng adjective. No? Hindi po. Hindi ganoon ang paggamit ng test. The test is used to measure the skill or the competency. It is not an avenue for you to display your vocabulary skills. Oo, alam ko magaling ka kasi English major ka. Okay. Siyempre, teacher ka Alam na ng mga estudyante yan, kaya ka na naging teacher Pero kapag gumagawa ka, yung dapat appropriate lang yung reading level mo. If you are in the high school, you have to be very careful in terms of determining the reading level ng grade 7 hanggang sa grade 10. Pag elementary, may elementary ba dito? May mga elementary, ano? Tama ba?
Yes,
May elementary ba sa inyo?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kapag elementary ka naman, dapat alamin mo kung anong reading level ng iyong mga estudyante when it comes to, halimbawa, yung mga intermediate grades at saka yung mga primary grades. Be very careful. Okay? Be very careful. Next. Yeah. Yes, I know. 3 minutes. No? May 3 minutes pa ako. General suggestions pa rin. Write the test item in a way that it does not become a clue to the other items. Write the test item whose answer is one that would be agreed upon by the experts and alam mo na tama yung sagot. And write the test item in the proper level of difficulty. And whenever a test is revised, recheck the relevance. Yung level of difficulty, lumalabas yan kapag ikaw ay gumamit ng item analysis. Okay? Yan po ang ano. And then we go. Sige, from here kasi we will be discussing na the different specific suggestions in the writing of the different test material. So, ikakat ko dyan para hindi tayo mabitin since I only have 2 minutes left. So, I'll be continuing sa next meeting natin dito kay slide number 49 no. Nasa slide number 49 po ako ngayon. Okay? So, we will be continuing with our discussion by next week. Sina LV, sina Kiana will be the one to communicate po sa inyo and sabihin nyo lang po kung anong particular time, ha? So, I'm done with my second lecture. We will have the third lecture and then, kumbaga meron pa akong last, ano? So, I will have one last lecture. Sabihin na natin good for 2 hours yon to help me finish everything dito sa aking slide bago kayo magkaroon po ng, post-test. Okay? Sige. Definitely, you will be asking, sir, pwede bang makahingi kami ng slide? Sabi ni LV, oy, wag kang mag-thumbs up. May mga conditions yan, ha? Pag sinabi kong ito ay, nakikita nyo naman dyan, yung assessment of learning crash course, may capstone college pa dyan. This will be, ito po ay produkto ng mahigit pong 2 dekada ng pag-aaral ng assessment of learning. At isi-share ko po ito sa inyo only for UL purposes lamang, ha? Okay? Yung mga UL students lang yan. Huwag niyong ipapamigay at huwag kong makikita na ito ay makikita sa mga review center, no? Kasi nakita ko na yung ibang material ko sa isang review center dito sa May Dagupan. Without my knowledge ay isinama doon sa kanilang review material. Okay? So wag naman sanang umabot sa ganito. This material is already updated. Meron akong mga dinagdag dyan based on the OBE. Kaya nga po, I will be sharing this one sa inyo po, pero paano ko kaya ito ma-share kung wala naman kayong DepEd account? Paano ba ito ma-share kung walang DepEd account? I-share ko pero restricted yung ano niya, no? May restriction. Sa DepEd kasi. Oo. Kasi sa DepEd kaya mong ma-restrict eh. May mga restriction doon eh. Sige. Anyway. Anyway, importante pumasa kayo. Sige na. Pero basta wag niyo munang i-share ha. Okay? Sinasabi ko na may sumpa itong material na ito. Okay. Kaya kailangan pumasa ka muna bago pa. Oo, totoo 'yun. Jerome Manuel, natatawa ka. Sige. Alright, maraming salamat. Magandang hapon and I will see you by next week. LV and Kiana and Rodilyn, can you please communicate and give me the feedback on what particular time are we going to meet by next week? Alright? Wait. Sige, baka sabihin ni Sir Max, wala akong documentation. Sige, magdo-document ako. Ayan, sige. Hindi ko alam kung paano kaya pasensya na yung mga hindi nakakasama dito sa slide ha. Sige, I will see you all again next week. Last 2 meetings po tayo. Last meeting natin will be 2 hours kasi 1 hour lang tayo ngayon. So may utang ako na isang kalahating oras. So we'll have 2 hours more and then before we will be having our post test. Okay po? Sige, I will see you again next week. Maraming salamat and magandang hapon.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye po, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Happy birthday, LV.